This is Appalachian Television Omni-Media, improving America. 308. Local Wasteland time. If you're listening, it means the night still carries voices, even the ones that don't belong in this place. Before the story, a quick truth outside the signal. I don't speak Spanish well. Not fluently. Not the way a man should if he's trying to be understood. I can shape a sentence. I can catch pieces. But sometimes the words don't come, and my mouth turns a simple idea into something jagged and slow. Still, I tried. Because I started realizing something that didn't sit right. People were hearing the signal, but not the message. A word here, a sentence there. The rest, lost in the gap. If a transmission can cross mountains, ruins, and silence, then I can cross a language too. Not cleanly, not proudly, just honestly. So I used what the wasteland leaves behind. Old school books, half-missing pages, pencil notes in the margin from someone who's gone now. Night after night, I practiced until the sound stopped feeling like a wall and started feeling like a door I could at least push open. And then something happened, and I wasn't expecting it. After those Spanish broadcasts, someone answered. Mexico City. Not a traveler passing through. A voice on the air. Coming through like a second station bleeding into mine. Riding the same broken band of frequency that I've been using to keep this place stitched together. He calls himself Xicohténcatl. We talked. Not long. Not like friends. More like two men on opposite sides of a storm, shouting to confirm to the other that one is still alive. He told me there's a wasteland down there too. Different streets. Different ruins. Different prayers. Same hunger. Same grief. Same human bodies trying to make it another day. He told me this story. He called it the Lotería Card. Xicohténcatl said Mexico City has places where the old world didn't just collapse. It kept talking. Not in speeches, in loops. There's a district called Tlatelolco. Old stone, old blood, old history. And beneath it sits a records hub that used to broadcast morale, government prayers, patriotic chants, emergency instructions, a place built to keep people calm while everything fell apart. It didn't work. But the system never shut off. Now the locals call it the echo chamber, because if you get too close, you hear it. Voices stitched together by a dying machine. Prayers cut mid-word. Protest chants broken into syllables. A mother's lullaby spliced into propaganda like it's the same thing. It plays day and night through cracked speakers on rusted poles. Not loud, just constant. Like the city can't stop remembering, even when nobody asked it to. Xicohténcatl said a man lived near the edge of the district. Not in it, near it. Because you don't sleep next to a loop like that, unless you're running from silence. The man's name doesn't matter now. What mattered was what he carried. A single Lotería card. He kept it wrapped in cloth like it was fragile glass. Not a full deck, just one. La Muerte. Death. A skeleton with a scythe, grinning like it's in on something. But the card wasn't a warning to him. It was a receipt. Because the card had fingerprints on it. Old fingerprints. Pressed into the paper. And Xicohténcatl said the man swore they belonged to his daughter. Before the war, Lotería was a game. Something you played with family. Beans for markers. Laughter loud enough to drown out work. After the war, it became something else. language. In the markets under the tunnels, people used cards to signal what they had, what they wanted, who they were. Somebody holding a corazon was asking for medicine. Somebody showing el pan needed food. Somebody flashing el soldado was looking for protection. The man kept la muerte because the daughter did. That was the last night he ever saw her alive, he said, sitting on a floor with dust in her hair, placing beans on cards, smiling like the world still had weekends. Then the city went wrong, and she didn't come back. No body, no grave, just absence. The kind that eats at a person until they start inventing ways to hold on to proof. Xicohténcatl said the man began going down towards the echo chamber because he heard something in the loop. Not her voice, not cleanly, but fragments. A child's rhythm. A syllable that sounded like her nickname. A laugh spliced wrong, like a tape worn and rejoined. It wasn't enough to believe, but it was enough to hope. And hope out here is a hook you swallow without noticing. One night, the man found a machine in the ruins nearby. Not a full robot, more like a head and torso, half buried under the broken rebar. A Robobrain chassis, mostly dead. Military-grade ones, now patched with wire and steel, like someone tried to resurrect it for the wrong reasons. Its dome was cracked, the speaker distorted, but it still had power, and it was doing something strange. It kept sorting Lotería cards, not dealing them, sorting them. Stacks by symbol, stacks by pattern, stacks by wear. And on a metal plate near his handclap, someone had scratched the words in Spanish, memoria, and dice, memory, index. Xicohténcatl said the locals believed the thing had been repurposed. A mind in a jar forced to catalog human life, the way clerks used to. Only now, with no paper left, it used cards, because pictures survive longer than names. The man approached it with his one card in his pocket, La Muerte. He didn't want to give it up, but he wanted an answer more. So he held it out. The Robobrain's clamp took it gently, too gently for something built for war. And the machine made a sound like a throat clearing. Then it did something that ruined him. It stamped the card. A small mechanical punch pressed into the paper. A number, a date, coordinates, and one more line. A line that looked more like a name, but broken, incomplete. AI stitched from damaged records. It wasn't her full name, but it was close enough to make the man drop to his knees, because the machine wasn't guessing. It was indexing. It was telling him his daughter had been logged somewhere, like cargo. Xicohténcatl said the man ran that night, not towards help, towards proof, towards the coordinates on the card, down into a section of tunnels, under Tlatelolco, where the air tasted like wet metal, and the walls sweated like old radio static. He followed the numbers until he reached a locked gate with Fundación Sol markings on the hinges. Sunburst emblems scratched and peeling, as if some humanitarian project had built an access corridor here a long time ago and then abandoned it. Behind the gate he could hear water, drips, movement, and he could hear the echo chamber above, still praying, still chanting, still repeating itself like God had put it on the broken record. The man couldn't open the gate. He didn't have tools. He didn't have a key. So he did the only thing he could do. He sat there, night after night, holding the Lotería card in his lap like it was a hand. Here's the part that made Xicohténcatl stop talking for a moment when he told it to me. He said the man tried to destroy the card once. Burn it, bury it, let it die. Because it hurt. Because proof is heavier than uncertainty. So he tore it in half and fed it to a fire until the picture burned black. Then he went home, and in the morning, La Muerte was on his doorstep. Not the same card, not the same tear marks, a fresh one, clean edges, same symbol, same grin, and stamped on the bottom corner in that same mechanical punch, the same number. He went back to the Robobrain. He demanded answers like you can demand things from machines. The Robobrain only clicked, sorted, and printed another card. Another La Muerte, another stamp, another set of coordinates, like it was doing its job. Like the man's grief had become a request in the system, and the system couldn't stop fulfilling it. Xicohténcatl said the man lives near the echo chamber, or he did the last time anyone saw him. Thin, older than his age, eyes worn down by listening, and he carries La Muerte in his pocket because it's the only way he knows to keep his daughter from vanishing completely. He doesn't say her name out loud anymore. He just shows the card to anybody who asks why he stays in a place where the walls whisper prayers all night. And he says, she was here. She's still in the ledger. And if she's in the ledger, then the world hasn't swallowed her whole. That's the story. Not a monster. Not a curse. Just a man trying to fight erasure with paper. And a machine that can't mourn, but can catalog. There's a philosophy in that, too. The old world loved records. Loved lists. Loved numbers. It thought if you wrote something down, you could control it. But the Wasteland teaches the opposite. Sometimes a record is not control. Sometimes it's a wound you keep reopening, because closing it would feel like betrayal. So thank you, Xicohténcatl, for carrying this one across the distance and trusting me with it. You've been listening to Midnight in the Wasteland. I'm Nightwatch. I'll be back tomorrow if the quiet stays kind. Until then, keep your fire small. Keep your water close. And if you find proof of somebody you lost, don't confuse it with peace. Sometimes proof is just another way grief keeps you alive.